Good. Well, I think we made progress. I think we made improvement. I think one of the things that's always hard to judge when you're playing against yourselves, what's good for one team is not so good for the other. So you're playing against each other. So when one team makes a play, it's like, well, that's good for that team, but the other team kind of, maybe didn't execute as well as they should. So we had some good plays and we had some bad plays. There's a lot of opportunities to learn. I think the most important thing is everybody assesses where they were a week ago, how much improvement did they make, what do they need to do to continue to improve. And these two practices before we head to A-Day, this weekend, which, I'm sure our players are always excited about that game, and the energy and enthusiasm our fans show for that game is always something that I think excites the players and excites me. So we want to have a great turnout for that. But, we were a little up and down today, like the good plays were really good, but some of the bad plays were really not what we want. So, but it will create an opportunity for us to make some corrections, and continue to try to develop the kind of competitive character that we need. I think every player's got to challenge himself to give great effort, sustain and try to finish every play, and be accountable and responsible to do your job. And then we could eliminate, some of the mental errors and some of the negative plays. I've said this before, sometimes you got to eliminate the bad before you can really evaluate the good, because sometimes the bad plays, get you beat, and that's one thing that you want to eliminate before you have a chance to win. So, any questions?
Start right here with Charlie.
Yeah, Coach, just want to ask about the quarterbacks and how they look today and the progress they made from last week.
Well, they both made some good plays, but they also both, made some plays that they probably wish they would have had back. But they're making progress. They're improving. I think that they're developing some confidence, in the offense and what they're supposed to read and what they're supposed to do. I thought we were a little up and down today. I think we made some really good plays, but I also thought we made some, maybe mistakes that we need to eliminate.
Just what did you see on film from C.J. Dupree at Maryland, and what have you seen from him this spring so far?
Yeah, C.J.'s done a really good job. He was at a little ankle sprain or foot sprain or something for a while and missed a little bit, but I think he's going to be a good player for us. He's a good competitor. He can do all three things you want him to do at tight end, whether it's playing the C area, be an H-back type of blocker, or split out and be a good receiver. So we're excited about him and the contribution he can make. And that whole tight end group, this spring has really, Danny Lewis has really made a lot of progress. Amari has made a lot of progress. That whole group has really made a lot of improvement. Robbie Oots is not out there because of injury, but I've really been encouraged by how that group has improved and progressed.
You talked about wanting to minimize penalties and also increase turnovers. What do you see from those two things today?
Well, we got a few more turnovers today, which last week we didn't get in. We got one, I think. Today we got 4 or 5, but it goes back to the same old thing. We're preaching ball security to the offense. So if we gave up the ball, then it's good for the defense, bad for the offense. So ball security becomes an issue that we have to focus on, whether we're throwing it, whether we're catching it, whether we're running with it, whatever it is. And, we just got to keep working on it. We do turnover drills every day. So, we just keep on working at it.
You've mentioned the challenges that a freshman running back has stepping up to the next level in the past. Just how has Justice Haynes handled those, and what have you seen from him this spring?
Justin has had a great spring. He's a really good player. He's a really mature guy. He's really smart. Nothing's really too big for him. He goes out there and competes, and if you were just, a guy sitting on the log, watching, you would never know he was a freshman. So he's a very talented guy. He can make cuts. He can make a miss. He's got some power. He's got good speed. He's a good receiver. So, he's done a really, really good job all spring.
How effective is Ty Simpson as a runner when a play breaks down or protection breaks down and he's got to play outside the pocket?
Yeah, he can move. He's a good athlete. He can make plays with his feet. I think Jalen is probably, really special when it comes to that because of his speed. But, Ty does it fairly well. He's a good athlete. He can run. He ran the ball, a lot in high school, so it's tough, and he makes pretty good decisions when he's running the ball. So I think, one of the things when it comes to situations like players have to understand, is this a good time to run or not? Like we did some 2-minute today, and guys are running where would be better off if they throw the ball away, because we're just wasting time, really. So I think situationally, we can probably do a little bit better job of making decisions of when we use our feet to make plays, and when it's better to give up on the play and have another chance to make a play the next play, especially like in 2-minute situations.
From a leadership standpoint, offensively, who stepped up with that group?
Leadership, the offensive line has probably done the best job of, I think, on our team of, sort of creating the kind of toughness, the kind of intangible character that, we'd like our team to play with. There's Booker, JC, the 2 centers, all those guys I think have done a really good job impacting it. I think the way the running backs play, the competitive character that they play with impacts a lot of people on the team. I think, Kendrick Law is one of those guys that's, kind of a tough, hard-nosed, play hard guy all the time, and I think he impacts, the receiver group. So I think there's, quite a bit of guys on offense that are contributing to developing the kind of chemistry, character that we'd like to have on the offensive side of the ball.
Secondary has a lot of moving parts, but how has Christian's story developed?
Yeah, he's, Christian's been in the program for a long time. I think that he knows what he's doing. I think, he's got to learn how to play with consistent high level of intensity so that he can execute to his capabilities. He's got really good ball skills. He's very instinctive. So, we just want to see him sort of have the kind of juice that a starter needs to have all the time. And I think that's the expectation that the other players would have, and it's certainly the expectation we have for anybody who is a starter. And you got to prove that you can do that every down. It doesn't matter how you feel. You got to choose to do it.
How much has Jalen Monroe improved in terms of pocket awareness since last season?
Well, I think that he's made progress. I think the more experience he has, the better he's going to get at those types of things. I think one of the things is we really try to emphasize 2 hands on the ball. I didn't think his pocket awareness was bad last year. I think his ball security was not what it needs to be. Sometimes when he starts moving around, you got to have 2 hands on the ball so they can't knock the ball out of your hand. So that's something we worked on really hard so far this spring.
Yeah, Coach, one of your keys this week was maintaining and sustaining intensity. How do you think your group did that today?
I think it was a little more difficult to do today because the conditions were warmer, more humid. But I think the guys really tried. That was one of the challenges that we had, for them today. Can you give effort? Can you sustain and finish plays? And can you stay focused so you can execute and do your job? And, I'm sure we had some guys that got tired out there, but they tried to push through it.